Hey guys, how's it going? We're back for another weekly Q&A, and I'm so excited to be here because this means we're about to jump into full force. I have some really exciting videos for you guys this week. A lot of planting is about to be happening, and it's just going to be so exciting. So get ready for a lot of plants, a lot of planting videos, and the garden is about to be so spectacular. So I'm really excited about it. It's going to be so much fun. Yeah, let's jump into it. So last week's videos, we did the Q&A, we did shopping for trees after losing some privacy, garden planting day, black mondo grass and a tulip arrangement, and then we did a 6-minute raised bed at grandma's house. And so it was a really good week. And since then, oh my gosh, so many things have happened. It's been absolutely insane, but it's been so good. So the first video from last week was the Q&A of why do I cut tulip bulbs off, mosquitoes and fountains, and why so many ads. And the very first question on that video was from Sandra, and she had said, did you use stain or paint on the fence, and what color did you use? Thank you, love your videos, Ottawa, Canada, Zone 5B. So we used a stain. It's by Bear. It is I think it's like the Deck and Stain from Bear. It's in the color Slate, and we used a sprayer on our fence. Worked fabulously. We actually have a blog post all about it, of all of our favorite paint colors, from my whites, my beiges, the interior paint colors. Every paint color that we have on the property is linked in a blog post. I will put that in the description down below, or you can also go to visitourgarden.blog, and then you can go to the blog section, and then there's my favorite paint colors, and it's everything that we use. The next question on that video is from Judy, and she had said, isn't Patreon the same thing as a membership? And they are different. So Patreon is, I believe it's a whole nother website, and basically it would be like where if I took my videos and I made them, so the way I understand it, I'm not 100% certain on how Patreon works. Basically, I think you can only see videos if you pay for Patreon. Like if you guys were to pay for a Patreon thing on the Patreon app, website, whatever it is. And that's the only way you'd be able to watch my videos, where you guys are able to watch my videos for free, and you guys are basically having to watch ads, and that's how I make my money. But you can also join membership. So Judy McCarroll is actually a member, and that's how she's got that little like tulip thing next to her name. And so there's a whole bunch of members, and you get some extra perks from it. You get some emojis, you get custom badges next to your name, so people know that you're a member. And then if we ever get our life together, my goal is to eventually start releasing some member-only videos. They might just be like a couple minute long videos, or maybe releasing videos a couple hours early. If we're ahead of schedule, I can release things early. So that's my goal one day, is to make it so that there's more and more benefits for members. But if you guys want to become a member, you can just go to the Visit Our Garden YouTube page, and then there should be an option to become a member. The next question on that video is from Shotzi, and they had said, hi Robbie and Brent, question about the tulips. You said you pull them because you don't get enough chill temps for them in the winter. Have you ever considered letting them go till they get enough energy stored in the bulb and then collecting them for next year? You can then chill them at the usual time. Might save money. Loving your new garden design. I've thought about it in the past, but it sounds like so much work. I mean, if you guys think about it, a lot of people complain about having to dig dahlia bulbs and storing those, because it's a lot of work to have to dig them, divide them, store them, and store them properly for them to go make it to the next year. Tulip bulbs, I have hundreds and hundreds of tulip bulbs, and I really don't want to dig up hundreds and hundreds of plants every single spring and then replant them every single spring. I'd rather it just be one-time task of me planting them, and then I just yank them out of the ground. And if the bulb stays in the ground, it stays in the ground. If it doesn't stay in the ground, it doesn't stay in the ground. I've had some other people ask if I would ship the bulbs. Also, no on that one. I won't be shipping the tulip bulbs, because then I still have to dig them, and then I would have to ship them. And it's so much more work. It's really just, for me, the easiest just to write it off as a expensive springtime show. And for me, it's so worth it because of the show that we do get from them. And if I spend, $200 for the springtime for a really beautiful show, I think it's totally worth it. I know that's not the case for everyone, and I know that that's a lot of money, but I really do, for me, think that it is worth it. So I've also had a few other people ask if they can come and dig the bulbs and take them, and as much as I would love to say yes, and as much as I would love to allow people to come here and like tour our garden and everything, we just can't. And it's literally just because we run our business out of here. the YouTube channel, and insurance does not love that. So liability issues, we can't have people coming and touring the property. I won't be doing anything with my tulips other than just pulling them, and then I will replant new ones next year. And the last question from that video is from Stacy, and she had said, I pay for premium so I don't have to watch ads. Then most YouTubers do them on their own, and I get frustrated because I paid to not get sold something, so I find it rude. So it wasn't really a question, more of kind of a comment, but I do want to address this. So I went down to YouTube. I just got back from their headquarters, and I kind of asked them a couple questions about that. Not so much about that, but about the ads, because that was a topic last week that I had brought up, or the last 2 weeks. Basically what they had said, that they're doing all these testings to make it so that ads are better for the user. So we used to go in and we used to be able to try to place ads as close to a decent breaking point as we could. The like specific is kind of hard, but they're doing it now where they're trying to find natural breaks in videos. So they're trying to make it so that ads break at a better time point. And so I'm letting YouTube now just test it. If you guys ever see a video, for those of you that don't have premium, if you ever have a video where you're like, Robbie, there were so many ads in this, please leave a comment. Please let me know. We're trying to go back and we're trying to delete if there is an excess amount of ads that YouTube puts in videos. Sometimes we delete them and then it adds them right back in. And so they're in kind of a testing phase on that. And then as far as ads in videos, when you guys are paying for premium, I get it where you guys are coming, where some of you are coming from on that one. So I work with companies and they are ads. So when I worked with Bootstrap Farmer, I do 2 videos a month for them. Those are technically ads. And then when I work with EdgeRight, some of their videos are ads, and their link is in the description down below. That wasn't an ad, but I do work with companies, and and those are ads. So I mean, when you guys see things from EdgeRight, when you guys see things from Bootstrap, those are both ads. And then I will say that I do have a video coming out, which I'm really, really excited about. I'll just tell you guys right now, it's with the Home Depot. It's going to be a Saturday video, and it's coming out in, I think, a couple weeks. And the whole video is finds that I found at the Home Depot, and the whole video is basically an ad. They paid me to create the video, and I'm really excited to work with the Home Depot. That's kind of been like a big goal of mine. You guys know I'm all the time, I'm at Home Depot and I'm at Lowe's. And so as far as ads go in videos, I get why creators have to do it, because that is the way that we fund these channels and we fund these projects and we fund doing these things. So I try to limit how many I do in videos. So I try to keep them far and few between, or I try to make it feel very natural, not like a hard ad. So I do totally get where you're coming from on that though. The next video that we did was shopping for trees after losing some privacy. And I will say, I am very happy that it's gone, but I'm also sad that it's gone. I had a love-hate relationship with that thing because it did provide some privacy. And it was really beautiful in the springtime when it bloomed. The other one that's in the big tree is already starting to lose a lot of its color. It was Lady Banks rose, and then we planted, and the Lady Banks rose is thornless. There's no thorns on it like a typical rose. Grows extremely fast. And then we planted some hornbeams to help with some privacy. And I'm really happy. I'm really happy that it's gone. It feels more open, but also sad because we did lose some privacy. The first question on that video is from Jardine Lover, and they had said, love your channel. Have you guys ever thought about installing a lattice trim on the top of your fence for more privacy? Linda Potter did this on her backyard fence in both homes. It looks lovely and could be a solution for both you and your neighbors. Just my unsolicited advice. I will say, we thought about it when we first started installing the fence, but we have so much fencing. We have 150 feet on both sides, and then we have 50 feet across. So our property it's a lot of fencing, so that'd be a lot of lattice. We talked about it, we looked into it, and it just would be so expensive. So we kind of decided it's not worth it. The next question on that video is from Lisa, and she had said, how much privacy do you need? Are your neighbors climbing the fence? They're not climbing the fence, but one of our neighbors, their house is like 1.5 stories tall. And so their bedrooms and their bathroom look over into our backyard. And so we do need some privacy because their house is really tall. And so it does look into our property. And so I do want privacy there. And then our other neighbor who did take out the Lady Banks, her back porch faces our backyard, and her back porch is raised up. So when she's on the back porch, she can look right into our backyard. So it's not that people are climbing the fence. You can literally, we can see into their bedrooms and we can see onto their back porch if we're just standing on the ground. So that is what it is. The next question on that video is from Dave, and he had said, hi Robbie, have you ever used beer in your garden for organic snail slug control? Use like a low dish, vinyl, saucer, slightly buried. Any type of beer works, so don't use the expensive ones. I actually tried this last year because I was dealing with them so badly and it didn't work. It did not work for us. I tried like 4 or 5 different things. I did the beer thing, I did the newspaper thing, I did straw, I did things turned upside down into terracotta pots. Nothing was working for us except for the Slug and Bug. That was the only thing that worked because I wanted to get away from using it because it was so expensive even last year. I don't know, the Slug and Bug stuff works for us, or the Bug and Slug, whatever it's called. And so far, I'm seeing lots of growth on my hostas, and the stuff that I had sprinkled down, so far it's working. I'm not seeing any damage on my hostas, which is really nice. The next question on that video is from Claudia, and she had said, Robbie, how old is the lemon cypress near the new hornbeam trees? I want to plant some, but they are very small. Also, that was not my rooster, if you heard that. The lemon cypress, we bought it and it was this big. It was teeny tiny. And I planted that 4 years ago at this point, I think, something like that. So it's not very old. They grow really, really fast. The next question on that video is from Yvonne, and she had said, question, Robbie, once the 2 trees grow, are they not going to be way over your neighbor's side of the fence? Those ones are not. So if I plant them and I let them do whatever they wanted to do, they would grow way over to our neighbor's side. But I am going to be doing what's called pleaching them. So it's a lot of pruning on them. And basically I will be pruning it so it's right up against the fence line, and then it probably will come out. The tree's only gonna probably be this wide, but it's gonna be trained kind of into like a square, a rectangle almost. And so it's going to be very, very tightly pruned. It's not going to be hanging over the fence, and it's not going to be getting as tall as it says that it's going to be getting. I'm going to be keeping it in check. The next question on that video is from Jane, and she had said, what happened to Hank the cat? So we have an update on Hank the cat. Hank the cat is being fostered, or is going to be being fostered. Hank the cat, a couple weeks ago I introduced you guys to him, and he's kind of a wild cat. He bounces between some of the neighbors' houses. He ended up getting extremely sick. My other neighbor and I, we thought that he maybe got hit by a car because he was acting really, really weird. He ended up getting into a cat fight and contracting a disease. It ended up costing us $400 to take him to the vet. Took him to the vet, he's on antibiotics, and then once he's done with his antibiotics, he is going to be going to a foster home, so that way he can not be a just wild cat. He can actually go somewhere to a place that can actually keep him and take care of him. So Hank the cat is going to hopefully be finding a forever home. He's not going to a pound, he's going to a foster home. So that's really, really good once he's finished all of his medication. But yeah, it was a pretty gnarly cat fight, and the disease that he contracted, it's a virus. So once he's done with his medication, then he will be good to go. And the reason that we are not keeping Hank the cat is because Hank hates Freya, does not like her. We tried. And then our other neighbor, their cats do not like Hank. So neither of us can keep Hank the cat, which is super important because he is a very, very sweet cat. The next video that we did was garden planting day, black mondo grass, and a tulip arrangement. And the tulips have already basically faded inside, but it was so nice to have them inside. They were so, so beautiful. The first question on that video is from Judy, and she had said, what is the name of the panels you put down to keep the pets out of the corner of the garden? You described it too fast. The link to those will be in the description of this video, and it was in the description of that last video. Usually if I talk about anything, I do try to put the links to that product in that video. They are called, I think they're called like scat mats or something like that. I got them off of Amazon. I think you can also find them at Walmart. But I will put the link to those in the description down below. The next question on that video is from Connie, and she had said, hi Robbie, I've been trying to order some Clearwater tulips, and Color Blends is saying they're not available. Do you know of any other source? So super bummed. So I was talking to Color Blends about this. I actually replied to Connie. And so they're not selling the Clearwater this year. Super bummed. If you don't know, as insane as it sounds, you can order your tulips right now for them to be delivered for fall. I will be ordering my sauna tulips, and I need to find a new source for Clearwater tulips also. I assumed that when I had responded to you, I had assumed that tulips weren't even ready for like you'd be able to order them, but you can order them now. And so if you're wanting to get tulips for next year and you're wanting to make sure you get specific things, now might be the time to order. Insane. The next question on that video is from Brenda, and she had said, hi Robbie, fertilizer confuses me. Why are you using a starter fertilizer on an established plant? I have every kind of fertilizer, but don't use them because I'm not sure which works where. So general rule of thumb, when you're planting things, you go in with a starter fertilizer. It kind of has everything that these plants need. And then in the springtime, anything that's in a container 100% needs some extra fertilizer. It's used up all of the nutrients in the soil already from the last growing season, so you need to fertilize again. So everything that I have on container gets fertilizer. This year, anything that I plant is going to be getting those little grow tabs. I'm going to test those out this year. Any annual that I have, whether it's in ground or in container, I go in with the Proven Winners water soluble fertilizer. I tried a couple other fertilizers over the last years, and the Proven Winners water soluble fertilizer, just in my experience, has been hands down the best. And I was actually able to find it local this year, which was really exciting. I was able to find it at Ace Hardware in Gridley. And then I'm also trying the Osmocote, which is a slow release fertilizer, and so anything in containers will be getting that also. Also, things that are in ground need fertilizer, and things just might need a little refresher fertilizer. You can go in with your starter fertilizer, which is a great fertilizer. It's going to help push everything, new growth, new flowers, all those things. So anything that is a heavy bloomer, it's really just best practice to fertilize in the springtime. And so things like your hydrangeas, you want to fertilize those. Things like your roses, you want to fertilize those. And you can go in with specifics, like for the roses, you can go in with specific rose tone, which is what I more often than not use, or you can just go in with the starter fertilizer. You're really not going to mess up too much, especially if you go in with organic. Organic usually doesn't burn any type of plant. So just fertilize your plants. If you've got all of them and under the sun, the bags, especially if you use Espoma, should tell you what to fertilize, what plants you can fertilize with that fertilizer. But for just general rule of thumb, starter fertilizer on all your plants, anything in container, 100% fertilize in the springtime and fertilize when you are doing your planting. And the last video that we did for the week, because we did take Friday off, was 6-minute raised garden bed at Grandma's house, and that's where we installed a new raised bed, and it looks so good. I love the color of that raised bed. The first question on that video was from Cindy, and she had said, if you still had side panels, why not just make the bed a little longer? There seemed to be space. So I made it as big as I possibly could. With the left side, there was already her plant shelves there, and I don't want to move her plant shelves. And then on the right side, actually there was irrigation coming out of the ground, and so I couldn't, because otherwise the irrigation, the like valves and everything would be inside the bed. So it was as big as I could make it. I would have loved to have made it the entire like length that I could. The next question on that video is from Yolanda, and she had said, Robbie, when you went to Grandma's house, you didn't even show us the puppy. What the heck? It's really funny. So Grandma and I had actually talked about showing the puppy. Didn't even think about it. Didn't even show the puppy. He's very rambunctious and he has so much energy. He's very much a puppy. My grandma was saying she's never had a Shih Tzu that was that rambunctious before. He's a lot of dog. He's very, very, very excited and very, very, very stubborn, but he's so stinking cute. He's in the middle of training right now, so they have a trainer that comes to the house, and he's very hard-headed, I will say that. The next question on that video is from Higgins Angel, and they had said, what all did you use to fill it? I see Miracle Grow garden soil, but wasn't sure what the first stuff was. By the way, I got mine, same as yours, with those slides from Grow Right, not Bootstrap, but they look identical. So Bootstrap is carrying them. It's from a company called Grow Right, but Bootstrap is where I got mine from. And then, so they're the exact same bed. I just water everything through Bootstrap. And then the soil that I used, I did use the Miracle Grow. I'm trying to be more conscious about the types of soil that I use, and so I'm trying this year to do anything that is peat free. And so one of my favorite soils, hands down, is the Happy Frog from Fox Farms, but it has peat in it. So I have 2 more bags of it, and then after the 2 bags are gone, I'm probably not going to be using it anymore. I'm trying to find peat-free soil, and surprisingly, Miracle Grow has 2 peat-free soil mixes, and so they're very hard to find, and they're a little bit more expensive for smaller bags. And so I will be using the Miracle Grow organic potting soil, and then they also have a pink bag that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using both of those because those are peat-free. And then the 1 bag, or the 2 bags that I used very first, they were really large. It's from a company called Kellogg. They call it garden soil, but it's garbage. It's basically wood chips, and we use it as filler. And so I've actually even talked about buying it and just literally using it to mulch my beds, because it's really pretty. It would be beautiful as mulch, but it is not soil at all. there's like no soil in it. It's wood chips. So we use it to fill up raised beds because I don't need something that goes all the way. I don't need soil all the way to the bottom. And those bales are like $9. And so I buy 2 of those, put those at the bottom, and then I fill up the rest with really, really good like soil that's full of like nutrients and all kinds of good things. So Miracle-Gro and Kellogg, and I only recommend the Kellogg if you were using it as a filler, not to do your entire raised bed. The next question on that video is from Stefan. She had said, "It's so nice to see you both helping grandma. These do look easier to put together. Did you end up putting the protective edge on? I am curious how it would go installed around the stakes that are holding the planter together." I did not, so I actually built it wrong. One of you guys had let me know that I built it wrong. So the hooks, they don't go on the outside, they go turned, so they're on the inside of the bed, which to me seems a little bit weird. Also, the edging of it was not sharp at all, so I don't even think that you need the protective edging. After I had installed it and put the clips on, I was like, I'm not putting this metal, I'm not putting on the plastic edging. And I told Grandma, I said, if you guys want it, Grandpa can do it. So it does not have the protective edging, it comes with it. I didn't install it mainly because I put the hooks on wrong and I didn't realize until I had filled it up with soil. And so, yeah, so no protective edging. For that one, I don't think that you absolutely need it. And the hooks are not supposed to go on the outside like I did it. They're supposed to go on the inside, which to me kind of feels a little bit weird. The next question on that video is from Proud Mama, and she had said, "Hey Robbie, can you compare the quality and durability of the Bootstrap raised beds versus the Vigo beds? I am planning on buying some raised beds and love how easy the Bootstrap ones were to assemble." And I did respond to that comment, but I also wanted to address it here and say, building them, super easy. I mean, 6 minutes to build that bed. The only thing is the quality, exactly the same, 100%. They're basically exactly the same. It's just the ease of building them. The design is slightly different. So with the one I got from Bootstrap, the curves on them kind of like come down like this, where the Vigo ones are kind of like S-shaped almost, if that makes any sense at all. And so with the Bootstrap ones, there's no accessories that come with it. It doesn't come with anything that you can add on to it. For the Vigo ones, if you're wanting all the accessories, like the Vigo one, you can buy lights, you can buy trellises, and they are built to attach to the Vigo ones. The Bootstrap one does not have any of those. So if you're really wanting all of the like add-on things, I would say go with the Vigo ones. If you're wanting to have it so it's easy to build and you don't care about having all those little extra like frills, I would go with this one. Also, this one only comes in one height, so that's the other thing. I don't know if they're trying to come out with more sizes or whatnot, but for, I would say, like ease of build, go with that one. And the last question on that video is from Liz, and she had said, "What is the green stuff on your grandparents' fence? It looks interesting." That is shade cloth. So it's not like a tarp or anything like that. Somebody had responded saying that they think it was a tarp with grommets. It's not a tarp. It is shade cloth. And they had put it there because they were having issues with like water or something like that going over or coming over from the neighbor's side. And so they'd put it up. And also they now have it like everywhere because of the dog. The dog was barking at shadows coming through the fence. And yeah, so it is shade cloth. And shade cloth basically goes up, and it usually is like over your crops because it still lets sunlight through. You can get it in certain percentages of what you guys want. And so it lets in sunlight still, but it doesn't let in as much sunlight. So that's what it is. So that is going to be it for this week's Q&A. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. We are off to go have some lunch, and I am very excited about it. We're going down to High Hand, which is one of my favorite places to go get food. It's in Loomis, and it's this beautiful greenhouse that you have lunch in. And I told Brent that we're taking down an ice chest because I want to come back with some of their artichoke dip that they've got. Oh, it is so good. If you were ever going there to High Hand in Loomis, California, get their artichoke dip. They make homemade potato chips, and it's this like artichoke deliciousness. I'm obsessed with artichokes, by the way, so that's where that comes from. Anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for visiting our garden, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.